Instead of trying to avoid stress, which actually is impossible, we want to increase our ability to handle stress. Things happen to us that we can't control, but we can manage our response to those things. And so we have to dig a little deeper. The mind is a wonderful resource, but we considered it to be the surface of things. The heart is the depth.
Paran, you are a co-founder of the school I Am Heart with your partner, Susanna Baer. And could you just talk to me a little bit about why your meditation school is different than other meditation schools?
You could classify meditation schools as either upward or downward. It has to do with the goal. What is the reason for meditating? And in the old method, which are the upward methods, the goal was to re-enter a source, to reclaim this ultimate purity and divine quality. In Buddhism, it's referred to as rolling the wheel backwards, to recapture that original state. In our work, in the downward meditation types, we're preparing ourselves for the fulfillment of our lives, which is to fulfill our purpose. We're real interested in change, creating change in ourselves, transformation, really, and remembering this objective, this mission that we were given really before birth. So instead of raising ourselves to heaven, we want to bring heaven into our bodies.
Okay. So would you say it's less about what is beyond and it's more about living our purpose right now?
Yes. Yeah, we want to be very practical. The upward meditations are a relief from life, and we consider this practice to be a rehearsal for life. So instead of going to a place where there is no problem, there are no complaints, there's no pain, we want to bring our problems into the meditation so that we can solve them better using the resources of our heart and our energy than we could do otherwise. We want new solutions to the challenges that face us, which can come from these inner resources. But we don't want to avoid anything or block anything out.
Right, or kind of disassociate from.
No dissociation. Dissociation is actually a part of the method in upward meditation.
Yeah.
And it has to do with the way they think about spirit and matter. In the old way, they just didn't understand the holism. We are a holistic method, but if you see spirit and matter as completely separate things, then if you want to approach spirit, you have to let go of matter, which means letting go of your body and your mind and your psyche, and all those things are considered to be distractions. We see spirit and matter as united. In fact, we say spirit is to matter as water is to ice. It's the same thing in a different form. Mm-hmm. So we were looking to find spirit in the body, in the matter, in life.
And the heart then is the tool to do that.
The heart is key to that because the heart is physical. It's also energetic. It forms the magnetic field. And it's very spiritual because the soul is reflected into the heart. You can find the qualities of the essential being that we are in the heart. And that means it's accessible all the time. You don't have to go to the monastery. You don't have to go to the cave or the desert. It's always with us.
Right. It's accessible whether you're like in the grocery store or traveling or in a work meeting. That's what you're saying?
Yes. So why don't people experience their true self with all its potentials all the time? Well, because although it's present, it's covered. And it's covered by the mind. And so we have to dig a little deeper. The mind is a wonderful resource, but we considered it to be the surface of things. The heart is the depth. So to find the heart, you just have to go a little bit deeper into the self, where there are wonderful things called emotions and energies that at first seem uncontrollable or difficult to handle, but this is where the power is. And we need that power.
Right. And I suppose, over the course of someone's life, they've probably developed habits in how they interact with those emotions or act upon them. And so heart rhythm meditation, when we talk about transformation, is probably some of how we interact with those emotions then.
Yes, that's right. Instead of trying to avoid stress, which actually is impossible, we want to increase our ability to handle stress. So it's the response that's interesting. Things happen to us that we can't control, but we can manage our response to those things, and that's what makes us great. It's the way we respond to what happens.
And what is a little bit more history of this heart rhythm meditation practice? So, what is the lineage, and how are you combining the more ancient traditions that you've studied with modern science?
We studied with a man named Pir Vilayat Inayat Khan. Susanna and I both knew him very well. He was the son of Hazrat Inayat Khan, who was a great luminary, a man who died in 1927, but taught in the West in English. Which is very fortunate for us. We don't have to learn some other language. He taught in English, and his work was universal. He taught a wisdom which is found in all traditions, and especially around the heart. He felt the heart was the home of the soul, and the core of the spiritual work is done in the heart.
And so his son then furthered that work and study, and the two of you have carried that on since?
Yes, we were surprised and blessed, really, by his request to start a new school, because he felt his method had become sclerosed, as he called it, which means hardened, stiff. And he wanted us to start again and use science. Now, he was very astute in science, but he wasn't using it he didn't have a way to integrate it into the method. This was an era when new tools, new instruments were being developed where we could measure things we couldn't measure before. For instance, the heart rate variability. The first instrument was developed about that had a chance to work with. And it's a fascinating thing. I mean, people had studied the brain for decades, but the heart hadn't been studied because it was too difficult. It required computers to see what's coded in the heart rate. The heart rate's not steady. It's not uniform. It wiggles, and there's information in the wiggle. So that's the variability of the heart rate, and that information is so interesting. I think it's much more fascinating than brainwaves. But it took until the 1960s, 70s to have the tools to understand it.
I see. So it's kind of this combination of the spiritual study of the heart and the emotional heart that your teachers did, and now, due to the tools and technology we have today, you're able to layer science on top of that. So we get to take away both those physical benefits as well as the emotional and spiritual, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and it redefined the spiritual work. Instead of having to do it in solitude, we could do it together. So heart rhythm meditation is a practice that is really enriched by doing it in groups and in life, in our homes. Right. So we don't need any special equipment or any special place to do it. We can do it together.
And speaking of groups, could you just speak a little bit about your student population for heart rhythm meditation? How diverse is it? What does the community look like?
The theme of the heart attracts the most wonderful people. I think they're just marvelous people. They're people that are interested in making their lives better and not escaping. We have all kinds of people, fortunately, a very diverse community in terms of occupations, a lot of therapists and medical people, business people. These are groups which often are not attracted to the upward meditation type.
Yeah.
And people that are looking to heal their trauma. which because the trauma is in the heart. And this method of working with the heart gives us a way to heal trauma. In terms of background, they come from different religious traditions. We don't differentiate between the religions. When you think about what religion a person belongs to, you're looking backwards. You're looking back in history. And we're interested in going forward. What can you become? What's your interest? What's your purpose? It's in the future. So where a person comes from doesn't matter.
Yes, that makes sense. And, full circle back to what you were saying at the beginning about this practice is for your life today. Can you talk just a little bit real quick about this part of accomplishment of heart rhythm meditation, which I think is especially unique compared to other meditation techniques?
Yes, we emphasize the doing aspect. In traditional spirituality, they talk about knowing and being and doing, and only being is valued in that set of three, whereas we value what you do. I think this is what makes a person great, is what they can do, what they have done, what they will do, what they're preparing themselves for. So it's important for us to be able to fulfill the heart's desire. And that's a great sort of breakthrough and a milestone on the path when a person can accomplish what they wish. And in order to do that, we use our meditation. We use our heart. We use the power that comes from the heart, the power of courage and passion and confidence and creativity. These are all qualities of the heart, and that's what we use to fulfill this desire. Everyone has a built-in desire. We talk about the kinds of desires that there are.
Yes.
And we want to help people do what it is they wish to do.
I think that sounds very exciting, and I hope to learn more the next time that we talk. Thank you so much, Paran.